All right. I don't think that Connor wants to make an opening statement, so I think we'll just go ahead and open it up for questions. David with the first one.
Well, Connor, I know it's not a strange thing to be around this program, but what has changed since now you're officially part of the staff, and what's changed now that you're gotten back into being an actual college coach?
Yeah. Well, obviously there's been a lot of change this year. It's been change for coaches and players and myself, and then the transition from, a role with player development to being on the field. But I'm excited. I really am. Obviously I have a lot of great memories here as a player in that position. And it was fun being in the quarterback room this morning. It was fun being involved in the field today. And, that's what I told our quarterbacks. We have 3 weeks to go compete, have a lot of fun, make some memories, and have a lot of pride for what we do individually, but also as a team.
Mike Yuba.
Connor, I know the circumstances, I'm sure you wouldn't have liked this to play out in terms of being able to get back into this role, but having that experience of coaching over at Furman, did you envision yourself one day being able to get back on the field and coaching?
Well, I grew up in a locker room. Dad's a coach. My brother's a coach. It's basically how I was raised. So I don't think I've ever left the game, even, when I wasn't in football the past couple of years. I've always sort of envisioned myself being very closely attached to the game of football, and I'm excited to be on the field. Grateful for the opportunity.
Ben Briner.
Hey, Connor. First, congrats on the quasi promotion, I guess. And what do you kind of take from the time that you spent at Furman, and how do you maybe approach a coaching role differently compared to that time?
I don't know if Furman's a good example. I mean, I was in a room there. Obviously, it's much different schematically. I think it's really helped me just this year. I've sat in, the quarterback rooms and some of the staff rooms when they were installing, just being a part of it. And I think that's what's going to help me transition into this job. Not necessarily, what happened at Furman, but, again, I'm a part of, I've learned a lot of football from Coach Bobo the past 7 or 8 months. Feels like I'm back in a room with Kyle Shanahan in Cleveland, very detail oriented, very structured, and, asks a lot from a quarterback, but for them to take total command of the offense. And so that's it's been a joy for me to be a part of.
Rick Henry.
Hey, Connor, good to see you, and congratulations on your new role. I was wondering, what type of things did you share with Colin? What advice did you give him throughout the course of the season? And now that you're going to be working with him full time, what's going to be your focus to make him the best quarterback he can be? And also, how would you assess the overall mood of the team after a couple of tumultuous days?
I'll answer that question first. This is the first practice where, the head coach is not there anymore. And so obviously some guys, it's going to be a difficult process to respond to. A lot of those guys known them for the past known Coach Muschamp for the past 4 or 5 years. But we still have belief that we can go play this game well, and belief in each other for the next 3 weeks. And with Colin, my main thing with him, but also the quarterback room, has been just being consistent. The world around us, things that are not in control, it can be very up and down, and that's life. That's the game of football. But if we can be consistent in who we are, consistent in our preparation and our approach, in our attitude and the way we execute on Saturdays, we'll find ourselves in a good spot. I'll say this too. Jay Urich earlier in the year, he kind of proposed that we do like a daily devo a devotional in the quarterback room. So through the week, each quarterback will rotate through and share what's been on their heart, whether it's scripture-based or mindset or whatever they've been feeling. And the thing that I said this morning with Coach and the quarterbacks is joy, believe, and fight. I think the first thing, sometimes we forget that this game's meant to be fun. Al Saunders, the receivers coach in 2015 in Cleveland, said if you erase some of the negativity and the unfortunate circumstances around the game that sometimes lingers around the game's pure. Like, we're still blocking, tackling, and running and catching and throwing. It's meant to be fun. And so we need to have a great level of joy when we come in the building and understand that we're all playing football, and then believe in each other, believe in ourselves individually, believe in the brand, believe in the coaches, believe in the process and the plan, and then fight. Fighters fight. Good things happen to people who don't give up. And I think we're put in that position right now, collectively, to to understand that we still get to come in here. We're still on scholarship. Most of the guys, we still, are getting our school paid for. We're still playing a game that we love. We still have a lot to play for these next 3 weeks. And then believe and fight. I read a quote from Ken Griffey Jr. said, when you have fun, it turns pressure into pleasure. And there's not a whole lot of pressure on us now. We can go have fun playing a game and compete at a high level.
Kyle Thomas.
Connor, thanks for being here. So you have wisdom and experience being a player, and we think back to the last time you played Missouri your senior year where you stepped up and had the huge game and won it in overtime for us. So what do your conversations look like to Ryan and to Luke as they're not the number one quarterback right now?
Yeah, I think for them, it's getting mental reps, it's staying locked in. I think we've all been a part of this game long enough where things can happen on a fly, and when your number's called, you better be prepared because you might not get that another opportunity. So I'm very proud of the growth in the room. I've had sort of a bird's eye perspective the past several months as this season's unfolded in my position with player development, and they've all grown, they've all matured, and they've all gotten better, and that's all they can do. That's all the only thing that's in their control. And so I think, I do. I know Coach Bobo does, and the rest of this team have confidence in every one of those guys.
Josh Kendall.
Hey, Connor. You, from your previous role, probably have a different perspective for what the players are going through in terms of this being a long year because of COVID, because of trying to live in a semi-bubble. What lessons have you learned from them that you think you can carry forward now to keep this group together? We've seen 4 guys leave. They don't have their head coach. How hard are these guys hanging on, and how do you help them?
Yeah, well, I think you learn a lot more when things, go wrong. This is a learning lesson for everyone, and you learn more from that than when things go right. I think then moving forward, learning how to persevere through some type of adversity. I was talking to Jalen Brooks earlier, and he was like, man, this is probably the toughest adversity he's ever had. And that's probably the case for a lot of guys on our team. But we're still put in a situation where, we don't have another choice but to go respond. Life goes on, and so we have to have the mindset to where we're going to continue to show up, be consistent, have fun, and keep fighting, man. Take pride in the locker room. The best cultures are player led. I think, back when I've been a part of good programs and bad programs, back-to-back 3-13 Cleveland Browns, and obviously 3 consecutive 11-win season at South Carolina. And I think a lot of that came from how well the guys gel together. And I think that our guys are fighting for each other right now. And, we can easily talk about the uncertainty of the future for South Carolina. But there'll be a time to reevaluate and to reflect on some things. And now's not the time. Right now we have Missouri to play on Saturday, and we've got practice tomorrow. And that's the only thing that we're looking to right now.
John Del Bianco.
Connor, what have conversations been like with your dad and your brother over the last couple of days about this new role?
Honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of time to talk to him. I had a conversation with my dad last night, and also my brother and my mom, and they're excited for me. They're looking forward to coming to a game. I think they're coming to the Georgia game, but you can tell they're joyful about it. And I think my dad's always wanted this of me, to be in a position where I could to be back on the field. But there's so many lessons that I've learned from him. He's been started 2 programs, knows how to build culture, knows how instill belief in the players and get the guys to ride for the brand. And so I think that a lot of that's helped me to understand how you cultivate a culture. How do you get guys to believe in themselves and what the process and the plan from the coaches. But that was a fun conversation with my dad and my brother for sure.
Ben Briner.
I guess now that you've been promoted to on-field assistant coach, you can also get involved on the recruiting side, make calls on that front. How much are they kind of throwing you into that, and how much of a role are you taking there?
Right now it's my goal is to get our quarterbacks to understand the plan for Missouri and to have the confidence to go execute it. I've had some conversations with Drew Hughes, a little bit about recruiting and reaching out to some guys, and I'm sure that'll pick up as we go. But you know, I'm compartmentalizing day by day right now myself.
And last question goes to Phil Kornblut.
Hey, Connor. Now that you've got a chance to be involved on the field coaching on the collegiate level at South Carolina, is it maybe your hope, your desire that whatever happens down the road with the coaching situation, that you would have a chance to stay on at South Carolina in an on-field coaching position, or if not South Carolina, somewhere else in an on-field coaching position versus being, you know, back in a behind-the-scenes administrative role?
That's a fair question, Phil. And I'll give the same answer because I'm telling myself this, the same that I'm telling the players. There'll be a time to evaluate that and reflect on that and understand what, you know, the future and what I want personally, my goals are. But, you know, my goal right now is to get the guys ready for practice tomorrow and go execute the plan. You know I'm enjoying the past couple of days. I had a lot of fun on the field today, being involved in coaching up the quarterbacks a little bit. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I know that I want to keep this on my chest. You know, I don't want to go anywhere. South Carolina's my home. We built a home in the summer. You know, I want to raise my kids here, have great memories here. What type of role that looks like, you know, we'll have that conversation when we get there. But we need to win this ball game on Saturday. And I'll tell you this for recruiting. At some point, you know, it doesn't really matter, you know, who the coach is, because the darn players need to fight for themselves. You know, again, the best cultures are player-led. You know, I have a lot of belief in the men here. I have a lot of belief in Coach Bubba. I think he would do a great job. I really do. I think what he's done schematically this year has putting us in a chance to win and have some success. Obviously, Shai and Kevin has had big years, but this is a fun place to be at. You know, we had some meetings with some recruits earlier this year, and like, I was a part of this place when we had the peak success, the 11-win seasons, and there's not a more exciting place to be when we're rolling. You know, Williams-Brice there's not a more exciting place to play, and for that to be your home. And that's just the truth. That's not really a recruiting pitch. That's just my personal experience being a student athlete here and being back here.
All right. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks.